Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk.
You're listening to Reignite, a podcast about the things we'll do for our friends. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Matt, A.K. Stormageddon.
Speaking of things we'll do for our friends, I'd like to thank Matt for setting aside some time to switch up our recording schedule because I had a very bad weekend.
Happens to the best of us.
But still, you're great and I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Anyway, in summary, Bartrand's old Hightown estate is giving the new owners a hard time. What with the disembodied voices and the furniture levitating, Varric recruits his favorite problem solver to search the house for any relics Bartrand may have left behind that would explain the haunting. After a thoroughly spooky investigation, Varric becomes more agitated to the point where he becomes aggressive with the maid just trying to escape. An ethereal golem takes her life and nearly takes ours, revealing the small piece of the idol that once drove Bartrand mad. Varric is convinced it would help Bartrand. How far will we go for friendship?
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
So dramatic.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Poirot over the weekend.
Well, I meant the mission itself. I think part of that is because Varric is writing the story and it's about Varric. So
This is true. Just like in the High Dragon fight where they did a very good job at the atmospheric conditions. You know, the little rumble of the dragon when you approach the right point on the map. Things like that. The desolation, the lack of sound from there. We have the eerie music. We have the sound of like bottles and glass moving across the floor. We see the levitating furniture pieces, doors open and close to herd us the direction that the quest wants us to go. I really enjoyed that atmosphere of the entire thing.
Yeah, I think Varric's mission is one of the stronger quest lines in the game. He is also an essential character. The other companions can kind of come and go, but Varric is part of the story because he's telling the story.
Other companions come and go, but Varric is forever.
Exactly, yes.
I'm sorry. The Diamonds Are Forever commercials with Varric instead.
I know, yeah.
The mental image, it took me out. It took me out for a minute there.
Yeah, it happens.
Anyway, to start off our mission, we have to talk to Varric about his small problem.
Yeah, apparently Bartrand's estate went up for sale, and the person who bought it is crying ghost, basically, is terrified that, and claims it's haunted, and of course we get roped into trying to solve said problem.
Okay, my response to Varric saying, like, they're claiming it's haunted was to be like, yeah, no shit. Like, a lot of horrible things happen there. It probably is. And Varric's like, I kind of didn't tell them about that.
Yeah, my response was mage specific. I just said the veil was probably torn, and Varric is like, I'm not a mage. I don't know about this veil stuff, and I hope it's not that, because I think repairing the veil is out of our jurisdiction, which was pretty funny. Yeah.
I was more affronted that Varric did not tell the buyers about the house's bloody history, because that is illegal. You have to let them know if there was a murder on premises.
Right, and Varric is so concerned with the rules and the law.
Varric. It's also a little immoral, I think.
Also, morality is gray for Varric. We know this.
I think he's closer to good than anything.
Yes, but he is likely to do things that benefit him. I mean, when we first met him, he basically tricked us into helping him raise money for a thing that we weren't even a part of yet.
This is true. Yeah, he does things that benefit himself and his friends and like the people he cares about. Okay. Well, you had your response as a mage. My response was, what if smashing the thing doesn't make it stop? He basically says, "You have spooky in your blood. We'll figure it out." Like, your dad was a mage. I'm sure it's fine.
Right, exactly. It's all the
Like,
same.
okay, fine, I guess. Like all the other companion quests, this is fairly quick. Once we get into the house, it's basically a direct shot to the final point, the final battle. But we do get at least one little cutscene where Varric talks about Bartrand. And I thought that was a really interesting moment where Varric notes that Bartrand's belongings are there from the estate in Orzammar. We don't really know a whole lot about why House Tetris, is it Tetris or Tetris? Not
Te-
Tetris. It
It's
can't
not
be Tetris.
It's Tetris, I believe, but I'm not the one. If you're asking me for pronunciations, we're in trouble.
It's hard to say is what it is.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot about why Bartrand and his brother are not in Orzammar, but Varric tells us about how these belongings were really important to Bartrand because to him they symbolized that life that they left behind, that heritage that is still part of them, even though they're not living in that place anymore. And especially after the weekend I had, it resonated with me, as I'm sure you might be familiar with. I'm not actually sure what your family's immigration journey was, if there was one.
There was. We're Russian
Yeah.
Hungarian. It was my grandfather's parents that came here, from what I recall.
Okay. It was my great grandparents on both sides, I believe. So, yeah, a couple of generations. And speaking to my experience, being like firmly American, but still the child of immigrant family, it's very interesting when that heritage is so important to the people who raise you, the people who have experienced it on a more visceral level, and you feel a little disconnected from it. And I feel like Bartrand is the one who still feels it, whereas Varric is disconnected. Like, Varric doesn't have a lot of memories of Orzammar, I don't think. I think Varric was very young when they left. Whereas Bartrand, that's still home. And I feel like it's a very strong immigration parallel.
Yeah. I mean, one point I think Varric says, and I'm paraphrasing, these weren't things from Orzammar to Bartrand. This was Orzammar, right? These items were it.
If we care about the direct quote, it is that stupid plate was the whole city of Orzammar to him.
Yeah. And like, yeah, I mean, I have no connection to my heritage really. Like, I think I can never remember which side is which even at this point, which side of my family is from Russia and which is from Hungary. I just know that's Hungary rather.
Did you say
I did say Hungary. From Hungary. Look, I don't know geography either. We've been through this.
I'm sorry. I should not tease, but it was a very fun moment.
Look, everyone knows I'm hungry all the time. It's not news.
Aw, terrible.
But also
Go to the penitentiary.
But there's a third branch for me because I'm also Jewish, and all Jews, well, not all Jews, but all Jews trace their lineage back to Israel. And so, complications aside of what's going on over there, like a lot of Jewish immigrants also feel connection to that place, which I also have zero connection to. I've never been.
Yeah, there's a diaspora.
Right. And like, I don't know, like I as far as I am concerned, I am just a white person. Like the heritage side of me, like my identity is stronger from my lack of gender. I was about to say my gender, but my lack of it, and my sexuality and my hobbies and my profession. Like I have much more stronger identities to that, whereas I have friends who obviously feel strongly about their heritage, where they've come from. And I think part of it is I think it was either my grandfather's generation or the generation before that came here. And it's like being that far removed makes it harder. Whereas I have friends who emigrated here with their families when they were young. And like, you know, are multilingual and, you know, their heritage is a big part of it. But to that end, like I grew up celebrating the Jewish holidays, eating a lot of Jewish foods. And so like that heritage is stronger, I think, in me than anything else. But again, not as strong as someone who is deeply connected to that history in a way that I'm kind of in it for the family and the traditions more than the religious side of it, which we've discussed before. And so I don't really relate to this. Like I can understand the story and I can relate the deep love of a sibling, sort of. I can take or leave my brother depending on the day. But like it's one of those things where I can relate to this in the way that I know people who can relate to this, in the same way that I play games with other stories about people or places that I have no connection to directly, but still feel something because of how it's written, how it's presented. And so it's more from that aspect than directly feeling connected to this narrative.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Growing up, my dad really cared about me knowing that the family originated in Ireland, I think because of the diaspora that resulted from, you know, all the horrible things that happened. And how coming to America wasn't a thing that was chosen necessarily. Yeah. It was a thing that was the only choice.
Yeah.
It was that or die, I think, in a lot of ways. And yeah, I think that changes your connection to it a little bit. And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess your parents didn't spend a lot of time being like, these are Hungarian traditions and these are the Russian traditions.
Correct.
And this is why we do this.
Zero.
Yeah. Like St. Patrick's Day was such a huge deal growing up. Like my dad really wanted me to know. And now that I live in Northern Ireland and have so many friends here who have seen the after effects of the Troubles, who have dealt with colonialism on a first-hand basis, it's an interesting experience being an immigrant in the place where my family originated.
Right.
Because I still have family here. I have family in Balik, which is in, I think the county is Enniskillen, which is kind of on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland.
Okay.
So very interesting. It's politics here, man. Over the weekend, there was an anti-immigration protest, framing it as religious values, Christian values, and wanting to protect women and children. But a lot of Christians I know who live here did not agree. So there was a strong counter-protest.
Mm-hmm.
And the anti-immigration protests did not last as long as they anticipated. They were supposed to protest for 2 hours. They give up after an hour. So win for counter-protest. But yeah, that's why we had to reschedule, because all of my anxiety leading up to knowing that there was going to be a group of people who were like vastly opposed to my presence here as an immigrant. Like, maybe not me specifically because I'm white and American and apparently the rules are different for me.
Right.
But like my roommate's from India and I was worried about her the entire time. And one of my best friends is also from America who's here on a spouse visa. And then I have another friend who has grown up here, but he sounds like he's from England and he still gets shit about it because when he was a teenager, his accent set and it just never changed. And it's scary. It's just scary, the lengths people will go to make you feel like you don't belong when you're trying really hard to build your community.
Without a doubt, yeah. I think that's one of the scariest things happening right now, kind of in a lot of places, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that Varric's companion quest is kind of this look into the Dwarven diaspora. And I would have been interested in seeing more about it. We only get this one moment. There's actually one other moment, but you don't get it unless you stick around to investigate the house.
Right.
So, I don't know. It gave me a lot of feelings, is what I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how in your situation, there's a very direct connection here in a way that would be different from me. I mean, again, how you talked about your dad finding it very important to like celebrate St. Patrick's Day, to talk about your Irish lineage. There was a lot of that celebrating the Jewish holidays for me. That's when I got my education on what Passover represents, what the Jewish holidays represent, Rosh Hashanah, so on and so forth. But that was always connected to the Jewish, just specifically my Jewish heritage and not the Russian or Hungarian stuff. So, you know, I think there's, and again, it's always been important in those specific moments, but it wasn't a day-to-day thing where a lot of other cultures, it's like the food you eat every day, the clothes you wear, the you know, things like that, the language you speak, all of that. Like I went to Hebrew school up to my bar mitzvah, and then that was it. I haven't, you know, and I try and read Hebrew occasionally now for the holidays and stuff, but definitely didn't stick the same way some people can speak it pretty, you know, effortlessly.
I think it makes sense to focus on the preservation of Judaism, especially this day in our lives with everything, you know, all of the everything. And I think it would make sense for your family to focus more on that than what country you all came from, because between your parents, Judaism was a uniting factor.
Yeah. That's true.
So I think it makes sense. Let's move away from the reminiscing. We see some spirits, we hear scream, and that's when Varric starts theorizing that Bartrand never really got rid of the idol, that it's still in the house somewhere. And as we get to the main part of the house, we approach the primary bedroom, and there's a maid still inside, which... sad for her, because that means that she was just abandoned here. Like, I just left her here, which, oh, that sucks.
It's unsurprising considering it's Hightown, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and Varric starts getting really intense, like, demanding to know where the idol is, and this poor woman is like, I don't know, I am very scared, can we leave now?
Yeah, and I took this opportunity to kind of like talk Varric back. Like, you know, she clearly doesn't know where it is. You know, let her go. It's clear she's spooked by whatever's going on here.
I was a little firmer. I said, if you want answers, stop interrupting.
Yeah.
Because also, like, hey, shut the fuck up for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And we see the characters, like, rock a little bit. There's some kind of quake. The maid gets upset again and runs out. Another scream. And oh, look, there's a golem.
Yep. And we have a boss battle.
Yes. Phases. We have the golem, then we have shades, then we have the golem, then we have shades. Ba, 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 ba.
It was pretty standard fare for this game. It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, not hard. But at the end, there is a shard of the idol, and it made me laugh. Whenever this happens in video games, I always find it very funny, where there is a MacGuffin of some type.
Yeah.
And they don't show it on screen. But everyone's clearly looking at it.
Right, it's there, but we can't see it.
It just makes me laugh so much. And Varric takes an interesting turn. Think of what we could do with this. Like, go insane?
Yeah, Varric seems to think that keeping the shard of the idol will be the key to curing his brother's madness. But there is no proof of this other than Varric's own theorizing. But also, it could very much just be the shard influencing him to find a reason to keep it.
I absolutely believed it was the shard being, like, influencing his mind.
Well, right, but we know that on a meta level, but there's a moment that is presented here where Varric is pleading with you to keep the shard to help his brother, and you are left with the option of destroying the shard or letting Varric keep the shard to help his brother. And obviously, we didn't talk about who we brought, but obviously, I assume we both brought Anders and Fenris besides Varric. And so Anders even pipes up and goes, "This is not good. Bad idea.
Yeah,
bad thing.
Absolutely." I didn't even need Anders saying that. I was like,
Me
I
neither.
know.
Yeah, same. I mean,
I can tell.
I'm a mage, so I definitely know. I can smell the idol basically at this point.
Like, I've spent enough time with Varric to know that this is not Varric's personality. This
No.
is not my guy. Absolutely not. We are not keeping it. And something that Anders said, which I thought was interesting, was that the magic seems more potent when it's broken.
Yeah.
Varric got more intense when we took out the golem.
Yes.
So I pushed hard against him keeping it, and we agreed to have it destroyed.
Same.
And then you could leave, which, would make sense because there's nothing else here. But there is one little scene that you can pull up if you go all the way back to that primary bedroom where the maid was. There are ledgers that you can look at, and you get a little more Bartrand background, but it wasn't all that interesting.
Yeah, I didn't. I just left. I was near the front door, so I walked out.
Yeah, I just wish that they had included more like pockets of moments like that.
Yeah.
It didn't even have to be a full cutscene. It could have just been a comment that Varric made about the thing that you found.
Right.
Like, it could have been party banter about it.
Yeah, totally.
I would have liked a little bit more background into Varric's life.
Agreed.
And I feel like this was a missed opportunity for that. Okay, so we both agreed to destroy it.
Yep.
So that means we have to go back to our house to talk to Sandal.
Yes.
Enchantment.
Yeah, I believe Anders suggests that with magic this potent, maybe our dwarven enchantment obsessed friend can help us do something with it since he has a special talent with magic.
Varric says maybe Enchantment Boy can do something.
Oh
with
no,
it.
it was Varric. Okay, so it wasn't. I thought it
Like,
was
that was
Anders.
literally what he said.
Yeah, enchantment boy.
I was just like, okay.
All right, sure.
And Sandal does. He turns it into a primeval lyrium rune.
Yep.
Which is not quite destroying it, Sandal.
No, but I guess it's making it
Inert,
better. Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. Dulling the magic, maybe, or focusing
I'm
it.
gonna go with that.
Yeah.
If only we knew more about Sandal.
Yeah. Alas.
Dragon Age.
Yep.
God. Okay. Side note, meta talk, Dragon Age, the Veilguard. I loved it. I stand by it. However, how great would it have been if Sandal was one of the companions?
Oh, it would have been awesome. Or Sandal to show up at all and to like get closure to his story.
Sandal just living in the Veil.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I don't know.
not living in the Veil, living in the Crossroads.
Yeah. No,
And just being like, hello?
Yeah, of all the threads left hanging from this franchise, that's the one that bums me out the most.
It makes me so mad. Yuri, come drop some lore.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have some.
He must know something.
Yeah, and then we are back to the Hanged Man for some closure.
Yep.
Very short conversation, just Varric saying, I'm really glad there was someone watching his back. And I took the option of being like, it's what I do.
Yep.
That and all the fighting.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's a moment for Varric to admit that he would definitely needed help and grateful for us always standing by him and not letting him get consumed by the shard of the relic.
Absolutely. And honestly, Varric's one of the most well-written characters. So even with some shortcomings, this was a satisfying quest.
Agreed. Yeah.
There was another thing that happened for you, right?
Yes. So remember how we were talking several weeks ago now, how when you were talking about finalizing your relationship with Anders and quote unquote sealing the deal, for lack of a better term, and him coming
Asking him to move in with me?
Yes. That's the deal I mean. And then
It sounds so vulgar.
and well, they know what podcast they're listening to. And so, getting closure to the relationship arc and then becoming more than companions. I never got that with Isabella, though I had some relationship with stuff with her and I couldn't figure out why. I thought maybe I didn't pursue it far enough, but like the friendship bar was full, which is required for that stuff. And then when I went back to the estate before the Sandal cutscene, Meryl was there and Meryl came in.
Ooh.
And started talking to me about what has happened and how grateful she was that I was there and that she's made so many mistakes and that she was just trying to do what's best for her clan. And, you get to joke back and forth a little bit. She's like, hell, if you were an elf, then my whole clan would probably be saved because you would be the perfect elf. And you can go, no, that's not true. I don't think I would be the magic cure to the clan, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. And you talk back and forth, and she confesses how she feels about you and that she's grateful for having you. And then I did back. I had this kind of protector guardianship that kind of converted into this more like companionship feeling over it. I know that when we've talked about her missions, I tried to be more protective of her, not just go, she's bad and doing bad things, and trying to find the good within it and get her safely out of those situations. So I end up telling her that I feel the same way.
Aww.
And she moves in with me. And so I am now in a relationship with Meryl.
Aww.
It was very sweet.
That was very cute.
Yeah.
Does she have like a little red thing attached to her now?
I think
Usually
so.
the companions, when they like lock in their relationship with Hawk, they get something added to their outfit.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she has the new white outfit that she gets when you finish her arc. Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, cool. Aw, that's cute. I'm
So-
very happy for you.
So I fell for Meryl, which is unsurprising when I look back on how this season's kind of played out. But yeah, so
I'm happy for you and your blood mage.
I am. I look, I can fix her. The classic I can fix her arc. As a fellow
I
mage.
can make him worse.
Right. Exactly. Basically, yeah. If you trace the arc of all of our seasons of this podcast, that's basically how it goes.
Yeah, I can fix her. I can make her worse.
Yeah, exactly. Basically.
Except Garrus. I can't make Garrus worse. Like, Garrus and I make each other better. But overall, I can make him worse.
Yes, exactly.
You want to get into fan mail?
Yes, we have another voicemail from Callie. We are always grateful to have your 2, 3, or even 5 cents on each episode. And so we will cut to that now.
Buonasera, everyone. Here are some thoughts on episode 42, Alone and Justice. First, Alone. What I wanted to say to Fenris was that he should not kill his sister because he should want to be a better person than that. Better than her. The best option the game gave me was to point out that she was also a victim and had also been used, which is true, but not an excuse. Of course, that is easy to say, as someone who has never been in a situation like that. Truth is, I know I would probably do anything to survive, and then torture myself about it later, but never really regret choosing to, only regret that it was necessary. After what happened with Bartrand, it was delightful to see Varric tell Fenris he would regret killing his sister. Very nice moment with him. And now, Justice. It is clever how Anders does this. Devious, but clever. He lies about what this is for one time at the start, and then gives plenty of statements that do apply to his real plan, but that Hawk can interpret within the context of the lie. Regretfully, I can confirm that this technique is highly effective. Very grateful for the discussion of the myth of neutrality and the illusion of not choosing. Not much for me to add, but there are 2 specific things Alcina says that especially pissed me off. She says no good can come from showing favor to one side, but 1, we have plenty of historical evidence to the contrary. 2, favoring the oppressed over their oppressors is good. And 3, again, the premise is false. there is no neutral option in matters of oppression. She says she can only hope to balance the needs of everyone, but 1. Templars are not acting out of need. They just want power over others to avoid having to actually overcome their fear and hate. And 2. The wants of fascists are not worthy of consideration. This is beyond complicity. This is collaborating and supporting. As always, many thanks to Matt and Frankie, also among my favorite people, for taking the time and effort to make Reignite. And remember, all Templars are bastards, and they must be abolished and held accountable for what they have done. And Althena is no better.
Thank you, as always, Callie, for that voicemail. We really appreciate it. And anyone can send in a voicemail that we'll feature here in the fan mail section. You know, it doesn't just have to be Callie, though we are grateful for their submissions. But yeah, anyone can submit, and just you can email it to the Reignite email address, reignitepod@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on Discord or on socials or any other way that you would like to get in contact with us and share in the fandom section of this podcast. Well, the fan mail section. We're about to get to the fandom corner. If you are ready, Frankie, to head to the corner.
Yes, to fandom corner. I had originally written this paragraph about something else, but I changed my mind. We're going to talk about Sarah Rash instead. Sarah Rash is a romance author, and the 2 particular books I want to bring to you in Fandom Corner are The Nightmare Before Christmas and Go Luck Yourself. These are absolutely great books. They're so fun, lighthearted, witty. The writing is actually really good. Sometimes you find with spicy romance, for lack of a better term, that the writing style is not the most elegant, I guess I would say. Like, sometimes there's, like, these repeated phrases. One of my favorite authors is actually very guilty of this. And it just becomes kind of an endearing quality when reading her books. It's just the same phrases over and over again. Sarah Rash is actually really good about varying things and not feeling like a repeat of the last book. The concept is, imagine all holidays are kingdoms of magic unto themselves. Basically like in Nightmare Before Halloween. Nope, that's not it. Basically like in Nightmare Before Christmas. You have the trees with all the different doors on them. Like that, except bigger and more modern. Our main character in the first book is the Prince of Christmas, who has been a colossal fuck up, but he's getting his shit together. His dad treats him like a fuck up, even though he's getting his shit together. And he gets forced into this pony show competition for the to marry the Princess of Easter. And his competition is the Prince of Halloween, who happens to be the bartender he made out with a couple of years ago and can't stop thinking about.
Gay.
It is gay. It's extremely gay and fantastic. Just extremely good. And then the sequel, Go Luck Yourself, is about the younger Prince of Christmas falling in love with the Prince of St. Patrick's Day.
Of course.
Somebody is stealing magic from the Christmas kingdom, and signs are pointing to the St. Patrick's Day kingdom. So he goes as an ambassador to investigate, but it turns out to be more complicated than he thinks, and he ends up falling in love with St. Patrick's Day as a holiday, and the Prince of St. Patrick's Day, and also Ireland in general, because how can you not? Extremely good. It went horny, sad, horny, sad, horny. I cried. Like, just extremely good. There's a lot of parental trauma, so I do warn you about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very cathartic in a lot of ways. And the sex was really well written. Usually when I read books that have sex scenes in them, I'm kind of meh on them.
Right.
But not this time. I was very pleased, for lack of a better word, with how it came out. So really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. Go read them. And then tell me what you think about them so we can talk about them.
Yes. We've had some folks comment on some of our Fandom Corner stuff, like Ben recently did in the Discord. And so that's, we want to talk about that stuff too. Yes, this is a podcast about BioWare games, but we're making these recommendations in hopes that you would check them out. And yeah, so thank you for sharing that, Frankie. This is basically, in my brain, what if there was fan fiction about Nightmare Before Christmas, which, like, basically it feels like a natural spin-off to it, but gayer, which I always appreciate. Hence why my brain...
I do want to say, Ben, you can eat my farts about Space Jam 2. I enjoyed it.
Anyway, this also actually caused me to change mine at the last minute also, because while I was going to talk about some music stuff, I'm reminded of something that happened this weekend, and that is frustrating to me and I think worth discussing a bit. So I saw the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I ended up really enjoying it. And I enjoyed the first movie too. Were they, the height of fiction and storytelling? Of course not. They were a lot of flashing lights, cool animation, fun music, and nods to other video game related things. But there has been a lot of talk about how terrible the new Super Mario Galaxy movie is. And while the critiques about the problems with the storytelling are absolutely valid, I also don't understand why anyone is going to a Super Mario Brothers movie made by Illumination for peak storytelling. Illumination does a lot of things well, but intricate, deep, thoughtful narrative is not the point of their movies. I like the first two Despicable Me movies. I like what I've seen of the Minions movie, but none of them to me scream high art. And that's okay. We need all kinds of art. And it's just very frustrating to me that things that are only okay get poo-pooed on. Like, I gave this 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. I gave the first one 3.5 stars. That doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's fine. And things can be fine and worth enjoying. Fun and Games recently did an episode on mediocre video games and how they have a place and how they're important, and that it's okay to like a video game. You can like things that aren't the best thing ever or the worst thing ever or anything in between. And I just find
100% agree with that.
Yeah. I just find myself frustrated that, like, look, if your job is to critique movies and do deep critiques of them, so be it, and I get it. But a lot of the, like, casual naysaying of this movie that it's, bad quality, and it's like, this movie wasn't made for folks my age, even though I grew up playing Mario. It's made for little kids. And yes, you can have very thoughtful, high art, artistic kids movies as well, but they don't all have to be. Popcorn movies have a place, good fun and ridiculous over the top nonsense movies have a place. And while it bums me out that Rosalina was fridged for most of the movie, though she has some cool moments at the beginning and end, that was disappointing. Ultimately, like, it was a fun film to show off what Illumination is capable. There are great cameos. It was spoiled in the advertising for the film that Fox McCloud from Star Fox was going to be in this, and all of that fun stuff that's basically paying homage and fanfare to Nintendo's past, which is what these movies are for on some level. Like, I don't fault anybody for disliking it, and I get it. I think I like to ask people to think for a minute about the stuff that's coming out and whether it's really for them. In the same way that when I don't like a new Pokemon game because it's overly tutorial heavy, I then go, yes, but also these are being made for kids. I still play them and have played all of them, and I wish there was a way to skip the tutorial because I've played every one of these games. But also, I can't get mad that they over-explain it because, again, these games are made for children. And on that same level, again, it's not me saying that kids' movies have to be dumbed down and basic or whatever, but I also think there has to be a little room for joy and mediocrity. Like, not everything can be perfect or high art. Not everything can be the best thing ever made. If it was, things would be very boring.
Oh, yeah. There's this tweet that goes around, or a Tumblr post, I don't recall, and it says, I told you that this was my favorite book. I didn't say it was good.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay to love something that is not great. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you can love it just because it made you feel something. And it doesn't have to be the best in the world to make you feel something. Like I said, one of my favorite authors, she makes a lot of errors in writing sometimes. Well, not a lot. That's an overstatement. But like things that I catch as a person who also writes. Do I care? Not really.
No.
I love her work. It's so fun. I think it's great. So the reason why I originally made a face when you talked about it is just because he's not my favorite Chris. He's like the worst Chris in my opinion.
Oh, I've gone from liking Chris Pratt to tolerating Chris Pratt, but that said, even his performance, like he's found his voice as Mario. He doesn't sound like oh my god,
the guy from
Charles
Parks and Rec. Is that where you were going?
No. Charles Martinet, who played the original voice of Mario for many years, but he does the
No.
I
thought we were making fun of him. Never mind.
No. I'm saying like he's not gonna do that voice that Charles Martinet did because Mario in the game said 3 lines, 5 lines, 10 lines. This is a whole movie.
Yeah.
But I think all the performances are really good. They're really solid. There's some cool parenting stuff with Bowser Jr. and Bowser, which is always fun. Like, yeah, I don't really love Chris Pratt either. Obviously, he's the worst Chris. We've been through this. But even still, like, people blamed his performance in the first movie, and I don't agree with that. Well, I don't think he is doing, like, there are probably others who could have done a better job. He does a fine job. I mean, in the first movie, I spent the first 10 minutes going, ugh, it's Chris Pratt. And then I started to forget it. In the second movie, I didn't even think twice. Like, his performance is solid enough. I mean, hell, they have Donald Glover playing Yoshi, which I think is hilarious because Yoshi doesn't say anything but make noises and say Yoshi. And yet,
that's very funny.
They hired Donald Glover to do it, and he does a great job. But, like, Brie Larson was hired to play Rosalina. During the pandemic, she went on tirades across multiple YouTube videos about how Mario Galaxy is one of the best video games ever made. Like, they are paying attention, and they care about these characters enough to make something worth watching, even if it's not your favorite movie ever. And yeah, like I'm so exhausted of the constant negativity online. It's why I created side quests over on Fun and Games. And like this movie reminded me that, like, again, I don't want this to say that also people who disliked it were wrong. I just think we have to leave room for people to like it because there's a lot of judgment on the people who liked this film. And I think that's unfair. Everyone interprets art differently. And if someone likes it, they should be allowed to like it.
I had a moment like this way back when I worked at the IT company where I was really excited about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and a couple of members of the team were like shitting all over it in group chat on the Slack, and I had to like check in with my boss and be like, hey, is it okay if I tell them to cut it out? Because like they can have their opinion, but being an asshole about it to people who might be excited is not nice.
Yeah.
So, like, it's okay to have your opinion. Just don't be a dick to someone whose opinion is different.
Yeah. I think that there's enough bullshit in the world that we don't have to crap on everyone who doesn't like the same thing you like.
Yes. I am in agreement with you.
Alrighty, so that's...
Yeah, leave me alone about liking Space Jam 2.
Well, there are exceptions to this rule, though, I have to say. We should all make fun of Frankie for liking Space Jam 2.
Look, it was fun, and there was a very funny Michael Jordan bit.
Okay. Okay.
I liked it a lot.
All of these rules apply except to Space Jam 2.
I will come to Brooklyn and fight you.
I only can hope. Because after you punch me in the face, I would hug you.
Aw, that's gay.
Yeah, a little bit. All right. Well, moving on. Before we wrap up, our next episode is going to be Favor and Fault, which is Aveline's companion quest. We will grit our teeth and bear it and get through it together.
It'll be fine.
Oh, I'm sure. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Thanks for being here. Play that quest, and let's wrap this shebang up so we can all go home. I mean, we are home, but you know what I mean.
If you like what you heard here, you can follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Blue Sky as Frankie B. Writes and DJ Stormageddon.
You can rate, review, and subscribe although how you're listening without being subscribed, maybe you just picked this one at random. Maybe it showed up in your Google search. Who the hell knows? But you can.
Maybe somebody sent it to you like we keep asking them to.
That's true. Why we would start with this episode, who knows? But hey, welcome if you're here. But yes, if you've not rated or reviewed or even subscribed, please do that on your favorite podcatcher. It helps folks find this podcast and grow the community. A rating or review only takes a couple of minutes, and I would love for everyone who listens to do that on whatever platform they are listening on.
Don't forget, we're members of the Certain Point of View Network. Visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website. Come on and join the conversation.
Yep, when we're talking about people interacting, sharing comments and thoughts, it's mostly in the Discord, occasionally on social media, and we would love for you to be a part of that conversation. As for personal plugs, the only big one that I've got is, if you're listening to this the day it came out, tomorrow, Fun and Games will be airing their annual coverage of PAX East. It was a blast. It's Jen, myself, and Sarah all talking about what we saw and what we loved. There was a lot of cool stuff, and mostly about friendship and the indie podcast community. But if you want to hear us talk about PAX East and why it was great this year, you should definitely go check that out at funandgamespod.com.
As for me, hey, do you love romance? Do you love books? Do you love community-forward spaces that care more about providing a safe space to exist than it does about making a profit? Then you're going to love the Romance Society Bookshop. Keep an eye on my website, frankiebryce.com, for news on bookshop development and how you can help make the stream a reality. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok as Romance Society Books.
Go do the thing. We'd also like to thank the one and only Case Aiken for developing some awesome t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpv.com and for designing each episode's show art. Thank you so much, Case.
I was going to make a joke about how we cloned Case, so he's not the one and only Case anymore, but then I realized that Case would be very excited about the prospect of being cloned because he does a billion things.
Yeah, he would actually
he
get
use a clone.
sleep. Yeah, for sure.
We'd like to thank Miracle of Sound for our theme music. If you've been jamming along, then you should head over to miracleofsound.rocks and check out Gavin Dunn's other music and merch.
Also, thank you to Red Spinks for our Dragon Age inspired logo. To see more of his work, you can go to Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
And lastly, thank you for listening. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon.
And remember, all Templars are bastards.
Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk. Hawk, 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 Hawk.
Do you have a gaming subscription service like Xbox Game Pass or a crazy backlog and don't know what to play next? Well, 1H1D might be for you. Join me, Chris, and my college buddy Tom as we play a random game or a requested game for an hour and decide if it's worth playing past that hour. We go over the good, the bad, and maybe some little tidbits about the development you might not have known. Got 30 minutes? Give us a try, and if you like it, throw us a 5-star review. Try something new. You never know what might be your next favorite game.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.